Okay, we have head coach Stephanie White. Who would like to start in the room? Emily?
Yeah, it's the same one. Just had some issues with pain, with mobility. So, we want to make sure that, again, we're thinking long term with her and doing what's best for her long term. No timeline yet.
Go ahead, Megan.
Yeah, we haven't been great in take care of the ball, especially, the unforced turnovers, the turnovers in transition. Our attention to detail has to be good. This is a team that's been in every game, that's just looking to get over the hump. They compete, they move the ball on the offensive end of the floor, they get into you on the defensive end of the floor. Taking care of the ball is certainly going to be one of our keys. We can't afford empty possessions and understanding that every possession matters.
Brendan?
Olivia Nelson the other night was pretty solid on the glass for her minutes. What have you noticed from her as far as adjusting with Bree Jones back and now playing maybe not 20-ish minutes, it's down to 12 or 13, so a little lesser minutes?
I think she's been pretty efficient in those minutes, especially on the defensive end of the floor. Some of the things that don't stand out in the stat sheet, her ability to alter shots on the interior using her length. To me, she looks stronger this year than she did even a year ago too. So being able to hold her position a little bit more against some of the bigger, stronger bigs, being able to alter and then get back up to get the rebound. That was a problem at times a year ago. And then just more of an understanding of positioning on the offensive end of the floor and finding her areas, to cut. We use her differently than we do Breezy, certainly, but her areas to cut, to get over the top passes, from multiple players on the floor, being an active screener, and then freeing her up for offensive rebounds as well.
How is her progress coming, as she's gotten healthier and integrated back into the lineup?
No, it's been great, at least from our perspective. Having her back out there is just, it's been so important. And, it had been so long that you almost forget all of the little things that she does. She's kind of a catch-all on the defensive end of the floor. She always seems to be in the right spot. She takes care of her teammates in that way. She's a smart player, a high IQ player, an efficient player in terms of her movement. And not to mention then a go-to for us on the offensive end of the floor. So it's been nice to have her back. I think she's progressed really, really well. She looks like she's starting to get her timing, her rhythm, just being more comfortable on the floor. She looks like she's starting to get that back. Again, this being our third game in however many days, we'll try to, limit her minutes a little bit tonight just to make sure that again, we're thinking long-term for her. She had to play heavy minutes against Dallas. She had to play heavy minutes for 3 quarters, 3.5 quarters against Atlanta. So, we'll try to alter a little bit here today.
Kayla, and then Megan.
Our field goal percentage, we're not shooting the ball particularly well. Some of it is just different personnel on the floor. We don't have as many floor spacers as we had a year ago. So finding, timing and where we're getting people the ball and how we're getting the people the ball. Some of it's our spacing. Our spacing is really poor and we're right on top of one another. So we're not able to have the time. Some of it's our passing. We haven't been great passers. We always say that you got to give shooters passes. And if we're catching it at our feet or over our head or fumbling it because it's not been a great pass, you're not going to get high percentage looks. So all of those things matter. I'm not concerned. I think we're going to, figure that out. If you look at percentages over the course of our players' careers, they're not going to continue to shoot what they're shooting. I certainly know that and understand that. But I think it's just a product of, 3 starters, that are different from a year ago, working into the lineup, 3 very different players than we had starting a year ago, and trying to figure out how we get one another the ball in positions to be successful.
Megan, then Tarika.
I think just her, the way she's managing a game. She's confident. She's managing time and score situations. She's getting players in the right position, getting us into offense. A year ago, I'm not quite sure she had the confidence to be that voice. We've got a tough veteran group, and so really finding your way to number one, earning their respect, but number two, communicating clearly and confidently, this is what we're going to do and this is what we need to do, and getting us into stuff. So I think she's really improved in that area. Her game management has been outstanding. I still want her to hunt more shots, particularly early in the ball game. I mean, she is an efficient shooter, three-point shooter in the mid-range as well. That will open up things for everyone else on the floor. I think she tries to get everybody else involved early and then kind of steps up late, but we need her to do that early in order to make things easier for everyone else.
Two questions for you, Coach. One, looking ahead to Washington tonight, what do you think are the biggest keys for you guys to walk away on it?
Well, we got to make sure our attention to detail on the defensive end of the floor. The last time that we played them and as they progressed, they move the ball incredibly well. So ball movement and player movement, they are nonstop. It is popping, it is moving, they are cutting, they are filling. They are getting into multiple actions, and that's exhausting to guard, especially if you're always playing from behind. And the last time that we played them, we were always a step or two behind, and so we were chasing instead of dictating. So our point of a defensive attack has to be there. We've got to be disciplined. Our positioning has to be great, and then we got to finish plays. We can't let them run loose. We got to make sure that we're contesting everything, and we got to finish plays. On the other end of the floor, we got to take care of it. They are an excellent defensive team. Always have been, different personnel certainly, but expect to see some different things from them in their almost green defensive coverages in the half court, mixing up their defenses. So we've got to be able to handle that. We've got to be able to handle the basketball, and we've got to be able to finish shots.
Follow-up is, it's hard to ask what motivates AT, right? But just from your perspective, watching her practice time, watching her in the way she, talks to and leads her team, what does it feel like continues to motivate her to be such the player that she continues?
I feel like, and I could be completely off base, but I feel like AT just, every time she steps on the floor, there's an internal desire to prove that she is the best player on the floor. She's not motivated by the stats. She's not motivated by awards. She's not motivated, by any of those things. She just wants to win, and she wants to prove that she's the best player on the floor. And so that's why it can be a huge defensive stop, or a big hustle play, or a three-point play down the stretch. There's always a momentum changing situation that we're in the ball game that she's a part of, and she makes winning plays. And so in my mind, that's it. She doesn't have anything to prove to anybody else. I think there are so many. Everybody respects her and what she does, but I think every day the best are always proving to themselves why they're the best, and AT's no different.
Natalie, then Christine.
Following up about Harris, you previously talked about how she was in Connecticut or with her a lot. What did you see her working on in pre-camp?
Well, number one, getting stronger and getting healthy. She had some lingering injury issues that she was getting healthy, getting stronger in the weight room all the time with our strength and conditioning coach, Annalise Rios, working all the time with our player development coach, Keith Porter, and working on being able to create her shots, working on being stronger and being able to initiate and accept and absorb contact. She was an outstanding three-point shooter for us a year ago, but she's not going to be a surprise now. So getting her shot off quicker, getting her shot off behind screens with the ball in her hand, all of those things so that she could become a playmaking guard for us.
Christine.
I know you just said Alyssa Thomas doesn't care about being recognized. She was named Eastern Conference Player of the Month. You were named Coach of the Month. What does it say that you should both give it to your team facing out of a very competitive league?
I think the biggest thing is we've got great players. The reality is great players make coaches look really good. It's not that we do anything outside of just try to put them in positions to be successful. AT has been an MVP candidate, will continue to be an MVP candidate. She has continued to elevate her game every year in a number of ways. I think our system, it fits her and her ability to use her versatility. DB could have been Player of the Month as well, right? Like her numbers were outstanding as well. So I just think we've got a very locked in focus group that want to win a championship, want to compete for a championship. Certainly maintaining perspective, what a great honor. But at the same time, we're not worried about May. We're worried about September. We're worried about October. We're worried about putting ourselves in position to compete for a championship.
Emily, did you have something? Very good.
Just a quick Austin being out for 6 and she had a pretty good night last night. How much does that change the calculus for your bigs especially?
Yeah, it changes it a lot. She's such a dynamic playmaker for them, and a lot of things that they do runs through them. Aaliyah Edwards is a different type of player on the interior. They'll probably go small a little bit more than they did before, so that might change our rotations and who's playing with whom a little bit differently. But for us, we just have to go out and we have to play to our standard, no matter who's on the floor. We've still got to find a little bit of consistency in our rotations, got to find some consistency in our substitutions, and get players who might not have the confidence that we want them to have yet, continue to get them involved, continue to build their confidence, and find ways to position ourselves for success.
Right, last question on Zoom. George, go ahead.
Coach George Guay from the Just Say Guay Sports Podcast. Just want to ask, it's really hard in any sport to beat a team twice, especially when a team gave you such a good game, which was 2 weeks ago. I can't believe it was 2 weeks ago, but when they're trying to win their first game and they know they gave you such a good game the first time, how much does it make it harder to beat a team twice?
It's tough. That's one of the things that makes this league so hard is, you're playing teams 2, 3, 4 times, in the regular season, and you expect everybody to make adjustments and to look for different things. And every time you play them, it's a new ball game. Certainly they're a team who has been in nearly every game that they've played, and the ball bounces one way or another. It's the difference between, wins and losses. And for us, we have to just stay locked in. We can't take any team that we play for granted. We can't take it for granted that we're playing at home. It's again our third game in however many days. They are hungry group that's well coached, that have a lot of pride, that have a lot of great players on their team. So we have to be disciplined, and for us every day it's about playing to our standard, positioning ourselves to continue to take steps towards our ultimate goal. And today, it doesn't matter who we're playing, it's step number 9. We have to be prepared to go out there, and we have to be prepared to play our best basketball.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks,
everyone.